All right, Bimang, it's Thursday. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. I'm in studio. I have a guest today. His name is Warren English. He runs the Instagram social media handle English Soul. He is a sneaker reseller, which you said is frowned upon.
It is.
So we'll get into what that means.
And broker and connoisseur. I've been a collector for a long time, too.
Beautiful. So we also have Megan Making Money joining us in today's interview because she's a big sneaker girl.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't put myself near on the caliber as our friend over here, but I do enjoy spending a lot of my hard-earned money on things to put on my feet.
Absolutely.
Hey, before we kick things off here, I want to talk about ChevyDriveChicago.com. Listen, Bears fans, you guys know the breaking news. Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers are now the proud official partners of the Chicago Bears. Big deal. It's a big deal because tailgating is going to be big this year with the all-new Silverado. It's exactly what you need to kick off your Bear season. Go check that out at ChevyDriveChicago.com. And obviously, we know pickup trucks aren't for everyone. You can go there, you can get the Malibu, you can get the Blazer, you get the Trax. Keep your eye on the Traverse. The Traverse is really nice. Got those two captain seats. I really like the Traverse because of that. Obviously, the Equinox is solid. A lot of good stuff. But you're not going to get to know about it. You're not going to get to, possibly pull the trigger on buying one unless you head to ChevyDriveChicago.com, and you'll be able to shop and find your local Chevy dealer today. You can type in your zip code, and it'll tell you exactly where the closest one is. It's Chicagoland area, so you're not going to be that far away from one. So give Chevy a shot. You don't want to go into the winter and have, car issues. So now is the time. ChevyDriveChicago.com. Go do it. Super interesting. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How did you get into this?
I've been into sneakers my entire life, like since I was a little kid. I'm 38 years old. I grew up in the Jordan era. So it was like, when you were a kid, you always wanted to watch Michael Jordan on TV. And part of the allure to Michael Jordan was watching what was on the feet. Right. Because if Jordan balled out for 63, you wanted to ball out for 16 in your little intramural game or middle school game, and you became fascinated with the shoes. So for me, I've always loved Jordans, always loved sneakers. As you saw when I walked in, I'm like 2 foot 7 feet tall, or 2 foot 7 inches tall. So clothes never fit me correctly, where shoes did. So I always used sneakers as a way to kind of differentiate myself from other people. Mm-hmm. And from there, obviously was a big collector all through like college, after college. When I was in law school at the start of fall of 2013, I didn't do well my first semester of law school, so I thought I was going to be asked to leave after my first year, and so I was like, man, gun to my head, I got to figure something else out to do. So I put together a business plan during like Christmas break about a sneaker business, and I pitched it to my brother, Drew English, who's my business partner. He was an electrical engineer at the time, and he goes, man, I don't think this can be as successful as you think it's going to be, but I'm down to give it a try. So we started our business spring of 2014, and then I ended up doing really well my second semester of law school and made the GPA cut. So was able to stay in school, graduate with a law degree, and then by the time I had graduated, our business had already grown, and we had built it up and branded it really well. And both my brother Drew and I were like, hey, I think we'd rather do this than be an engineer, an attorney, and here we are today. So that's kind of the long-winded answer to your question.
Yeah, but the shoe game took you away from being a lawyer and an engineer, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that just goes to show like how big it is and how your little crazy business plan was done correctly, I guess.
Well,
right?
and it was crazy too because my dad's always been in business for himself. My mom was a nurse, and they were like, please don't leave the engineering industry. Don't leave being an attorney. Those are like safe career pathways. So they weren't too thrilled about Drew and I kind of diverting from the path that they wanted us to go down. But now I think they look at it and they think it's cool. And my aunts, uncles, cousins, that's always like a topic during holidays and all that. Exactly.
We still have something to fall back on, though. I mean,
Yeah.
like if for some reason Dave wants to fire me tomorrow, I guess I'll just go back to being a mom and collecting more shoes.
we could figure something out, Megan. We could make the banana pudding and we could like jar it up. And
Did I have some banana pudding back there?
Ooh,
if
I
you'd
love
like
banana
some.
pudding. I would love that. Thank you.
Wait, but there's got to be a little more because you had a business plan. But what was the first pair you sold that you're like, oh, there's money in this? Because 2013, you couldn't just be like, oh, I could, or did you? Were you like, oh, if we find these, we could sell them for X?
Part of it too is, having like kind of like an understanding of what would sell, what would do well. The first pairs that I think like we sold were like Jordan 6 Carmines and then Jordan 11 Concord Lows. Mm-hmm. And it was like one of our first Instagram pictures that like we posted, it was like 4 pairs of Jordan 11 Low Concords, and we look back on it now and we kind of laugh because it's like, that's not sustainable. You can't live off of selling 4 pairs of shoes.
Now, as like what, just because the quantity, you only had 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
we
'cause
used
it
to,
wasn't many.
we did the old school thing of, waiting in line for shoes. This is back when it was like first come, first serve. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't like a raffle system really. So it was like, there'd be a release and you'd sometimes wait overnight, outside of the store in line just to get like a couple pairs of shoes.
Do you wish that it was still like that? Because I find myself getting frustrated a lot with like releases. Whenever I see a new drop that I like love and have to have. And I'm just it's my spot in the queue's just there.
Right.
I'm just like hoping to grab it. Like, is there a spot that you go for your sneakers specifically? Is there like a spot where someone like me wouldn't think to look as far as like getting like vintage shoes or like some of the more sought out shoe, I guess?
Yeah, no, I mean, there are always like little like honey holes, so to speak, that like people weren't like hip to, and you'd go there and you'd be able to like get your pair or whatever. And it's like now, I mean, everyone's always gonna like have an issue with how shoes are released, right? Like I'm not technologically savvy at all. So like botting was never like something I could do and figure out. I was always someone that, I was good at talking to people and making relationships and that type of thing. Where when everything went to like an online release or like everyone has a problem with the sneakers app, and that bots, that was never really our thing. It was waiting in line for shoes, and I mean that was fine like at the time, but as we like started to grow, we kind of realized like, hey, this isn't something that is like sustainable, and so we kind of shifted from like doing released shoes to like super rare like samples, promo samples, player editions, and that's kind of how we branded ourselves. Like shoes where there are only 25 pairs, 100 pairs released, and that also drive like a higher price tag. But it was something that, when we started, they were shoes that we saw on like Sneaker News or Soul Collector or whatever, and that you would just look at and be like, oh my gosh, these are so dope. I would love to be able to own a Jordan 4 Eminem Encore one day. And then it's like one day we own it, and it's like, wow, and that was that's a crazy shoe. And I don't know, it's just
so from getting more like common shoes that you could just flip, but still people really wanted, highly sought after too.
Yeah,
being like the rarest of the rare.
Yeah. Now. Yep. Exactly. And that's what we've branded and marketed ourselves as. And
but is that all through relationships now? Is what you're saying? Like you've got a relationship with these people who are making these 25 shoes, and you're like, hey, like, can you put us aside one, or how does that work?
No, it's a lot of this stuff is. I mean, we've been around now for going on 10 years, and a lot of it is like knowing where the shoes are and who the collector is that has them, so that down the road, when they decide to like sell their collection or sell pairs out of their collection, we're ready to buy. And when we were newer in the industry, it used to be us just like trying to find the shoes and reaching out to people on like Instagram or Twitter or X now, I guess, whatever.
It's still Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. And since we've branded ourselves the way we have, now it's to the point where like a lot of people will like who have these, they'll as collectors will reach out to us and be like, hey, I'm selling my collection, would you be interested in anything? So yeah, man. And I mean, I gotta give my brother Drew all the credit for branding, and with his electrical engineering background, he's always been really like tech savvy, tech forward. Like he recognized that we needed to be on Instagram, we needed to be on Twitter, we needed to do things that would help promote ourselves and help our brand stand out. It wasn't just about relationships or having a website. We needed to do more than that. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Drew. Drew is anyone who knows our brand. Drew is the Drew's the face of our company. There's no one like him.
Yeah, I mean that's huge that you built the brand. So that's been able to make you a spot where people go with these shoes when they're ready to get rid of them, or like you're kind of like I love Pawn Stars. Yeah, not saying you're a pawn shop, not saying you're a pawn shop at all. But for example, when he buys something, he knows like he has someone in mind. Yeah, like like this is a Coca-Cola like sign it. Yes. Yeah. Like this guy loves this shit. Yeah. Like you probably know like like this is this pair. This guy loves these pairs.
Yeah, and there are times where it's like that, and other times where we'll like blindly buy something and go, we don't have a buyer lined up, but hey, yeah, let's do it. This will be awesome to add to our collection, our showcase, our display, etc. So,
hey, let's take another break here because I want to talk about Groove Life. Look at this wallet. If you're watching here on YouTube, you see this nice little wallet. This thing's great. It attaches to your belt, but even more so though, it's just durable. You just slide your cards in and out. I really like this thing. My old wallet, like it was just so thick, and it was really no room to maneuver around, especially when I wore formal wear, like the Barstool Awards. Like my wallet was bursting at the seams. So this Groove wallet is really the way to go because it's 2023. You shouldn't be using a wallet from 2003. So update your wallet game. It's durable. It's high quality aluminum outer shell. This wallet is unlike any wallet I've ever seen. And whatever happens to your Groove Life gear, they are here to help. With a Groove Life 94-year no BS warranty. That's legit. 94 years. The Groove Life wallet is going to be the last one you ever need in your life. So, like I said, I just like that it's small, it's compact. You slide your cards in and slide your cash in, and it's that simple. I really enjoy that about this. So, they also launched their new Groove Wallet Go, a perfect low-profile companion to your Groove Wallet or iPhone 12, 13, or 14 that uses innovative micro suction technology to give you the ability to add another 3 cards plus cash. It's so slim you could easily fit it in your front pocket as well. Big frocket guy, so I like that. So it's time to bring your wallet into the 21st century. Head to groovelife.com/walk for 20% off all Groove Life products. That's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use my link. One more time, groovelife.com/walk for 20% off your order. One last time, that's groovelife.com/walk for 20% off your order. Go do it. All right, let's hop back into the episode.
So whenever you do get or go to resell shoes, are you getting ones that have been previously worn, or are we talking previously worn or brand new, all types?
Yeah, no, all types.
And when you get the previously owned ones, are you cleaning them yourselves? Are you do you have people that do that for you? How do you preserve a shoe, or go from say you found this super rare shoe that you have a buyer in mind for, but they're not in the best condition?
Right.
What is the best way to go about getting them into tip top?
Yeah,
shape?
no, that's a good question. I mean, like I said, we buy everything from dead stock unworn pairs to pairs that have been beaten to the ground and need sole swaps and whatnot. And when it comes to a true restoration of a sneaker, we'll outsource that to to a guy that we trust, and he'll take care of the restoration. But when it comes to cleaning, that's something, depending on how extreme of a clean it is, that's something my brother Drew and I'll do ourselves. Even other shoes, if it's super rare sneaker and they're dirty and we don't want to risk potentially ruining the suede or the leather materials
I've
on it.
ruined a good pair with I had a pair of laser lemons, and
Yeah.
I just wearing them in LSU and that muddy walking around just ruined the suede. I got a cleaning kit, and I'm hoping to make the suede come back a little bit with the texture, but it was a rough one.
Yeah, no, it's tough. And I mean, certain materials, it's I'll YouTube how to properly clean them. With suede, it's you need a suede brush, to brush it out afterwards. And I mean, I can remember when I was younger, I'd take a suede shoe that I wore in college and kind of beat up, and would just put soap water and magic eraser, and it just killed it.
The suede was gone. There's absolutely no texture left in it at all.
Just cooked.
So when you talk brands, I assume Jordans are the king?
Yeah, I mean, for us, Jordans. We obviously Jordans, Nike, Adidas. So
those are the big 3.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there a brand that would surprise me that actually is kind of maybe coming back, or maybe something that?
This wasn't anything I ever really got into, but New Balance has been killing it.
The 550s.
Really?
I have a pair. I just got a new pair. Everyone in this office owns a pair of 550s.
What are we talking? I'm the worst shoe guy ever.
Like Dave always wears them. The ones they have the. I'm trying. Someone has a pair. Yeah, but I say someone in here has a pair for sure.
No, and I mean, what you're seeing too is, you're seeing sneakers. You're seeing sneakers now becoming involved in everybody's dress attire. Even I could remember 15 years ago going out downtown Chicago, and it was okay, you had to have a jacket, you had to have dress shoes on, and it's now you can wear Jordans out to a nice restaurant or a club or whatever, and it didn't always used to be like that. And
if you were to still be practicing law, if you were
I was never a practicing attorney.
But if you were practicing, would you wear sneakers with your suit?
If I was in court, absolutely not. Just because it's disrespectful to the judge.
Listen.
But if I was in the office, absolutely, I would be wearing Jordans all day.
That's fine. Listen, I'm not no one to speak on fashion. She put a camera in my face earlier, and I got roasted for my outfit today. And but she knew what she was doing. She wore her Miley Cyrus 23 outfit.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
We actually planned this. We matched together.
Yeah.
Our shirts.
You guys both?
We knew.
Yeah.
We knew that we were.
She was
coming
like,
to-
"Hey, I'm wearing the throwback jersey," and I was like, "That's a good idea. I'm gonna wear my '92 Bulls championship caricature shirt."
yeah, collusion. But I don't know. I don't like the formal Jordans look at all.
Yeah.
Like that's something.
the formal and Jordans.
Yeah, that's something I'm just like, But like you said, if you're at the office, whatever. You're
Yeah.
just like fucking around.
Well, even like I got married 5 years ago. Shout out to my beautiful wife, Courtney English. But everybody, all of my friends, all my family thought I was going to be wearing Jordans like at the altar.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm not. No disrespect to anybody that does do that.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just for me. I wanted to wear dress shoes with the suit. And
Yeah,
all
You
that.
wanted to look fancy.
Yeah,
to feel fancy.
Yeah, I'm an accessory for my wife. You know.
yeah.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, absolutely.
What size shoe are you?
Oh, I'm small. I'm a men's size 7.5.
That's what I was hoping. So I'm also a men's size 7.5.
So is my wife.
So if you need anything, if you want to, put some shoes aside.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's funny.
Gotcha.
Wasn't it White Sox Dave? He asked you for like some type of pair, and you're like, Dave, I love you, man, but that thing is like the rarest of the rare. That
Yeah.
thing's like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. He goes, how much is this shoe? I was like, that's 10 grand. He's like, oh man.
But you know a guy, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But damn, New Balances are popping
Yeah,
off. Huh?
and it's crazy because with sneakers being so big right now, people are looking to branch out to other brands, from other brands to wear. So it's like you got New Balance that's really popular right now. Notre Shop in the West Loop, they're doing a collaboration with Solomon. Like Solomons have been killing it.
Yeah.
ASICs are coming
Just
back.
want to say I've seen a lot of
Really?
people with
Yeah,
those.
Sauconys.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool to
Is
see.
it Sauconys? I thought it was the Sauconys.
Saucony. I got the Saucony.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
yeah.
Is it Sauc-
I've always said Sauconys.
Well,
so maybe it's wrong.
but you're the shoe guy. You're the shoe guy, so I thought maybe I've been saying it wrong the whole time.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing too with like different brands and like even like with shop collaborations, sneaker store collaborations. Like there's I always thought it was Ama Manier and it's Ama Manier, I guess. So I just found that out like
I just butcher
a little
names,
while
and
ago.
that's what I do.
And I mean, I'm a goof. I mispronounce everything, so maybe it is Saucony.
What's the most rare shoe that you got your hands on?
Man, that's a good question.
You're talking about like present or like all together?
All time since you started this thing.
Currently, we got a Nike Air Mag Auto Lace, so the shoe that was worn in Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That everyone talks about.
Yeah.
Those are just like if you even see them, people are like,
Yeah, so that's a shoe that we're asking $120,000 on.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Pat Bev, you
Yeah.
interested?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've had if you guys are big fans of Entourage, the Nike Air Force One Fukijamas.
Okay, yeah.
Like they made a limited run of those, and we ended up getting our hands on a pair of those, and those sold for $88,000. So
You're in a fun business. If you can disclose, who is the most notable person that you've gotten shoes for, or that you continue to work with?
I mean, we've had everyone from DJ Khaled and Fat Joe buy off of us, as well as Bryce Harper, Eric Hosmer, awesome dude. The first like athlete we ever sold to was a guy named Adrian Nieto, who was a catcher for the White Sox. Awesome dude. Him and I are still friends to this day. He's down in Miami area now, but he was like the first one that like entrusted us, and then he introduced me to a bunch of different guys,
That's
so
awesome.
no.
You're super plugged in with a lot of those guys.
Yeah. So it's nice that they, trust us enough with, with something like this, because the last thing someone wants to do is, get absolutely killed on a price of a pair of shoes, and you also don't want to buy fake shoes.
Yeah, no,
so
that sucks.
Yeah, so we've always been good with that. Like I said, my brother's an electrical engineer, super detail oriented, and probably one of the best legit checkers in the sneaker community. So, but yeah, no, it's been it's kind of been a crazy experience. Like my brother's been to Dubai on a sneaker deal,
That's
like
Really?
just wild stuff you don't even think about when you're first starting.
How many of those Michael or the Back to the Future sneakers did they make?
Oh man.
If you don't know.
Yeah,
it's like
off the
a
top
rough-
of my head, I think it was like 9 or 12 or something like that.
Oh shit.
That's insane.
But they did it for the Fox Foundation auction.
Oh,
So 100%
gotcha.
of the proceeds went to the Fox Foundation for Parkinson's.
And are those like in a bunker somewhere? What do you do with a shoe that's worth $120,000?
Yeah, no, you keep it boxed up, you keep it safe, and where no one can access it.
Yeah, dude. I couldn't imagine.
It's insane.
Like
It's
my
your
2-year-old
Tesla.
my 2-year-old daughter isn't gonna have access to touch those.
Yeah.
My
So
shoes aren't even that expensive. My kids, I'm like, no kids. Like, I'm like, they're in boxes under my bed, like tucked away, so like they don't even get dust on them.
Get out of there. Get out of there. And then what about? So if we're talking the $88,000, the Entourage one, that's the Mike or the Back to the Future ones are for sale. The Entourage ones are the ones that you flip. That's the highest price you've got for a shoe.
So we collaborated with Sotheby's Auction House a couple years ago on a rare air auction, and it was strictly us, English Soul, and Sotheby's, and that's where we sold that pair on. That was the platform. Yeah, it was kind of It was kind of a cool experience, just because. Sotheby's obviously has a long-lasting brand. They've been in the auction business with art and
For sure.
for a long time, so it was a cool experience.
After you sell something like that, are you guys like popping champagne? Like, is it like World Series type? Like everyone gets their goggles on?
I mean, it's just keep going, right? Like, don't become complacent. Like, you can go, dude, congrats. Like, Drew and I will be like, dude, congrats, or nice sale, or whatever. But then it's like back to work,
I just couldn't imagine like selling something for $80,000 and not being like just like be like taking a day off. Like,
Exactly. But then you got to get right back in.
Yeah.
Sell 120,000 Back to the Futures. That's the crazy part. What's like the Honus Wagner of shoes? Like what's the holy grail?
I mean, right now it's, probably 1985 Jordan 1 Chicago's gamers worn by Michael Jordan,
Really?
whether it's in the championships or like his first pair, the Nike Airship, that's going back on auction, and I think that last sold for like 1.2 or 1.4 million.
it just like gives me chills. Just the thought of a shoe, like just like one Michael Jordan in a shoe and
Yeah.
owning the shoe that he like did things in.
Yeah.
That's just a crazy like this. I mean, there's sweat. Michael Jordan sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn. And he just has a pair on his mantle right now. Casual 1.2 just sitting there. I was like, yeah. play those
Well,
against
and that
Portland.
was always the interesting thing about explaining to people what we did, because selling shoes, people don't understand like the pricing of sneakers and how some of these pairs could be as expensive as they are. But you talk to someone who collects art, or collects cars or coins or rare wine, and you're like, no, it's literally just like that.
Yeah.
Like imagine having Jordan 4 Carhartt M&M that you can have on your mantle or have in your man cave downstairs and be like, oh yeah, these were only made for M&M and friends and family, so that's that's
What shoe have you bought? Like, what have you purchased for the most and didn't really see any return on? Like, you thought the shoe was gonna fly.
I mean, we've bought stuff that we've lost lots of money on.
Yeah.
you
But
know?
but is there any shoe that sticks out in particular where you're like, I hate that shoe. Like I don't want to think about it. Like
I don't want to.
The bane of your shoe
Yeah,
existence.
yeah.
Yeah. Man, let me think.
There's got to be one in there that or just like the ugliest shoe that you can think of.
I mean, I would say like the OVO samples, the Jordan 12 and Jordan 10 OVO samples that ended up releasing. Because that's the other thing with like samples and like player editions. Like the shoe can, release
Right.
sometimes. And both of those pairs like released.
You're
And my brother and I were like, oh man, but
just had to put them on sale.
yeah, exactly. Or just like throw them in the back of our warehouse and just like not look at them
Yeah.
for
Exactly.
years,
Let them say. But you know what though? Game worn, like that's almost memorabilia, like you
Yeah.
said.
Yep.
That's kind of a little different. Is there anything not Jordan that he would have worn that would be kind of that crazy price tags?
that he
Like, or
would have
even, like-
worn when he played.
No, not even, because I think that's a different category. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? If he played in it, then that's like Ollie's boxing gloves. Like
Yeah.
that's something that you're like, oh, this is what he wore. What's just like a pure shoe? Not even maybe a Nike or an Adidas that is just like a crazy price tag.
I mean, there's a shoe that I think is super dope is a Jordan 4 Undefeated, and it was a collaboration with the Undefeated store in California. And the crazy story is Michael Jordan didn't even know that the shoe, this shoe was even made. So when he saw it, he was like, didn't even recognize it or whatever. But one of the cool things about that sneaker is on the tongues. It's made. There's portions of it made from deconstructed World War II bomber jackets.
That's sick.
Yeah, super dope.
That's
it's like
super sick.
Yeah, so it's like
I love the small details like
yeah,
that.
and I mean that's always been like something that I always loved about shoes is the story behind it. And in general, just like with people, I mean, I can meet someone for the first time and I want to hear your life story.
Right.
Like, let's sit down, let's talk. How did you get to where you are right now?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all storytelling has always been something that's like fascinated me,
I mean, this whole industry is crazy to me. Like, I know there's a certain amount of shoes, the drop of the year when Jordan was in, but then there's an M&M pair. What? There's a pair with bomber jackets.
Yeah.
There's so many things
Yeah.
that I feel like the average person has no idea about.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. And it's like, like Macklemore has his own Jordan collaboration.
Really?
So like a thrift store collab.
Right. He has two pairs. It's a Jordan 6 like cactus. It's like a green colored Jordan 6 all in suede, and then like a red
suede shoe.
Yeah, and a red clay. It's like kind of like a pinkish looking color, and both of them have sharks on the
pretty
back
sick.
where like the Jumpman should be on the heels.
That's
Really?
really cool.
Yeah, those are cool. DJ Khaled has some dope collaborations with the Jordan 3s and the Jordan 5s, and Travis Scott. Travis
those
Scott,
fly off.
everything Travis Scott is nuts. And I mean, he even has like friends and family pairs that are like in like a Jordan 4 Travis Scott that's purple, a Jordan 4 Travis Scott that's like mocha brown.
Was he the first one to do the backwards check, or did Nike do that before?
I'm pretty sure they've done that before.
That's what I thought,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure. I know all of.
But
his
he
shoes.
like mainstreamed it.
I
you
do
know?
think it's really sick to look at because you're so used to like seeing it one way for forever.
Yeah.
And then like just seeing those, you automatically know exactly what they are.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Did you just call the swoosh a check?
Yeah, I guess. Is it a Nike swoosh? Yeah,
It's a
you're right.
swoosh.
Well,
It's a
and the other thing that I think is interesting too, just about like the progression of like sneakers and sneaker culture, is like when I was a kid, you wanted to buy like a sneaker because Michael Jordan wore it, or Penny Hardaway, or Jason Kidd, Damon Stoudemire, Stephon Marbury. And now they're looking at, like, what's Drake wearing?
Right.
What's Travis Scott wearing? Oh my gosh,
Yeezys.
Yeah, right, exactly, So it's
That's crazy. They're probably finding more returns on those people than they are basketball players.
100%,
Like obviously certain players they do.
Yeah, people aren't coveting the KDs and the LeBrons.
Well, the
like they
LeBron, I'm sorry, it
used
just
to.
doesn't sound as cool as Jordan's. Like, I'm sorry, like it just doesn't.
Right.
My
And
son has a pair of LeBrons. I'm like, I don't know about that.
But even that, like, you're gonna go for a Travis Scott over like a Jokic. Like
just factual.
The big honey.
yes, and no disrespect, he's the best. I love Jokic.
Yeah.
but it's just a fact.
Yeah.
You talked about the fake market a little bit.
Yeah.
How does that work? I remember seeing that fake pair of Lil Nas X shoes. Do you remember that with the blood?
So that was actually
Yes, remember that?
that was crazy.
Trevor Lawrence was pissed off. He's
Dude, I had people that were like, "How could you sell Nikes with?" I go, "I don't sell these. I'm not touching these." They're like,
yeah.
"Why would Nike ever agree to do this?" And from a general your general audience didn't understand that it wasn't like a Nike collaboration that they authorized. Like, there's a customizer named Mischief, and he collaborated with Lil Nas X. They took a pair of black Air Max 97s and they put blood in the air pockets. They it was a custom shoe. Like, Nike didn't sign off on that, but there were friends, family that were
out.
like, "What is this? How could you sell Nikes?" Blah blah. They didn't authorize that. They came out and were they took a stance. This wasn't something we signed off on.
Even so, separate the art from the artist.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's also the same people who listen to Ozzy Osbourne, and he bit the head off of
With a
a
bat.
bat.
Yeah.
It's
Rock
but
and roll.
right.
So they were real. They just weren't anything to do with Nike.
Right, correct. It was
Gotcha.
a custom
Now,
piece.
can Nike come at people like that? Or
They've been just recently. They've gone after people like John Geiger, who's a designer. KIY is the most recent, and they're trying to go after these people that are infringing upon, what they believe is infringing upon, the design of their shoe, their product, so yeah, it's
you ever had any run-ins with the big dogs like that?
no.
They don't mind. They don't mind your business.
We haven't had any issues, and I
Yeah.
think too, it's become so prevalent, that it's, I personally, I think the secondary market helps people get into sneakers and want sneakers, and
100%.
it's, I'm sure Nike or Jordan wouldn't want to admit it, but it helps their brand.
Yeah.
There's if a shoe comes out that, you can see it on Sneaker News or Nice Kicks 6 months before, and you're like, that's an okay shoe, whatever, and then it drops and it's super limited, then all of a sudden people go nuts over it.
Right.
There's certain colorways of Travis Scott's that are just meh to me, but people love it
them,
because
yeah.
it's
rare, so you throw exclusivity on anything and it drives demand.
Mm-hmm. How is what you do seen in the court of public opinion? Because, like you said, secondary markets, when it comes to something like Ticketmaster, people are like, "Oh, fuck them," you know, this and this. Is there any blowback on that, or everyone's like, "Nah, this is kind of the way the game is"?
Yeah, I think there's an understanding that this is kind of how the game is now. You do have people that will complain about the fact that a shoe that was released in stores for $180, $210 is now $400, $800,
Supply and demand,
$1,000.
though.
Right, exactly.
Just like with everything else.
For sure. But I mean, I remember being younger, and when the Jordan 11 Concords came out, I'm like, oh man, hate resellers. How I can't get my shoe and blah blah blah, and it's unfortunately the part of the industry or community, but it's also like relationship building too. Like you meet someone that is cool, and you get their size and stuff, and they'll sometimes have your size and stuff, and you can work out trades or work out deals or whatever. And also part of business is, hey, the returning customer, someone who is loyal, I guess. Loyal to you always cut them a deal or look out for them or whatever, so yeah.
No, that makes sense then. What's the as far, have you ever like lost sleep, like knowing that you're about to pay a lot of money for a certain shoe? If you're comfortable saying, what's like the most you paid for something? You don't have to say it.
I'm trying to think.
But like I always think that's.
I mean, we've done big buys for like. There was one time we did a big buy for like $600,000.
No shit.
And I was like, whoa, that's like
scary.
That's a lot of capital to invest in shoes.
No, for sure.
And it was a collection that we had bought out, and I'm always a little more nervous about those type of buys. And my brother, like I said, my brother's a beast. Drew's a monster. The guy's got ice running through his veins. He's like, Warren, no, we need to buy this.
This is it.
We need to buy this. I go, you're not scared at all? He goes, nope. I'm like, all right, dude, if you like it, I love it. So let's go.
Yeah. Did that work out, that deal?
Yeah.
Oh, good. And I think going back to that secondary thing, I think people will like the fact, though, that at least you guys aren't into the bot game. Because that's where it gets a little unfair, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've never been able to figure out. I mean, I don't know if it's my age, because I mean, friends of mine don't do technology very well either. So I don't know if it's my age or if I'm just hanging around with the wrong people, But yeah, we never, we were never big botters, and I mean, I don't hate on the people that do bot. I mean, gosh, good for you guys for figuring that out. Yeah. I've tried, and
I had no idea that there were bots in the shoe game, but I guess that makes sense. Whenever I was, talking about just waiting for a drop, like, if they're sitting there like constantly like being able to hit that button to rego, like they're gonna get the shoe, they're gonna get the spot. I guess that makes sense. Shout out to those out there that are botting, because that's crazy.
For real.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of kids too that, I mean, they grew up with a computer, whatever. I mean,
coding.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, where it's like me, I didn't start playing like on a computer until like Oregon Trail and like second grade.
Don't sleep on Oregon Trail. That was a great game.
R.I.P. the Oxen.
It was a great game. Everyone dying of tuberculosis.
Yeah.
It really was fun. It was awesome. All right, then. I think we're towards the end. Anything else we didn't get to? Any particular stories you were trying to share or anything like that?
Gosh.
If not, it's fine.
No, I mean, just in general, I mean, it's it's a hobby, it's an industry, it's a community that I love. Like I said, I grew up watching Michael Jordan play. We always wanted his sneakers and everything, and to be able to make a career out of selling shoes, I'm thankful and appreciative, and
it's got to be worth your while too, right? I assume you guys were going to be a lawyer and an engineer, so you guys got to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, and it's just like, like anything, like when you're passionate about something, like everything else kind of comes together. And as cool as it is, like oh, you got on the field at the Cubs game, or you got backstage at, DJ Khaled's concert, or you went to Dubai. Like, as cool as that stuff is, like, there's a lot of like long hours that are involved. Like, there are times like I don't get home till 3 or 4 in the morning, and as soon as I get into the house, I'm grabbing my daughter, kind of taking her out of her crib, kissing her, put her down. But it's also like kind of a reminder of like, the sacrifice and the hard work and what you do it for. And like I said, shout out again to my brother Drew, because he's a beast. And I wouldn't have been able to, we wouldn't have been able to do what we do without each other, and the good people that we've met along the way, and the stories we've been told and been able to share.
Yeah.
What a good brother relationship. I feel like if I tried to start anything with any of my siblings, it would just crumble before it started.
Oh, trust me, there are times where he and that's in a way is like kind of messed up as it is. There are times where like you can kind of freak out on each other. You take a day, and then it'll be like, hey man, did you watch the main event of the UFC fight last night?
Is that an icebreaker?
Right, exactly. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, we love each other tremendously. We got another brother, Ryan, and then a sister, Corinne. We're very family oriented.
Did you not slice them in? What happened to Ryan and Corinne?
No, we're all good. Ryan helps us out quite a bit with photo editing, photos, inventory, all that. And my sister is a emergency room pharmacist, so shout out to her.
Good to go. Actually, now that I think of it, I have 2 more questions to end on.
Okay.
The slides, is there a market? Like, is there a crazy market for that?
Dude, like Yeezy slides are like a thing. Like, people buy the absolute heck out of slides.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't tried them. I haven't tried them on. I've heard they're really, really comfortable. People are big on them. Yeah.
I don't think the Yeezys in general are that comfortable. People like the 350s.
Yeah, the 350s.
Yeah, I don't think I ever know everyone bought them forever, and they're like so good, walking on clouds.
Yeah.
I just don't find them to be that. I mean, they're nice, but they're not that comfortable.
Yeah. I think too, like the more you wear them, the upper kind of breaks in and loosens up. But yeah, I think they're kind of overhyped from
I agree.
But it's people like what they like, and at the end of the day, I think it's cool. You can use sneakers to express yourself.
I agree.
And then I might get crucified for this by the shoe people, but did Big Baller, are those like turning into collectors now? Big Baller brand? Because one day I think there might be something there.
Do you have a pair?
No, I don't.
You should you should invest in some. Just try to find them and just
I
have
might. My friend, he bought 2 pairs of Zion Williamsons when he dropped his first shoe. It's like I'm keeping one. I'm going to wear one, then keep one when he makes the Hall of Fame. It's like that's not working out too well.
Yeah.
hot take exposed.
Yeah, it's not working.
Well,
out
I think the interesting thing too about Big Baller brand is like LaMelo plays in Pumas, and
yeah.
And Lonzo kind of has his issues, which sucks because he's a beast. I love Lonzo. I mean, the Bulls were number 1 team in the East until he got injured, and he was the perfect point guard, I thought, for that
100%.
team, So hopefully Lonzo gets back, but I'm sure there'll become like niche market for a Big Baller brand in like 20 years. It's like I find myself looking for like shoes from when I was a kid, like the And One Marberries.
Oh, dude,
I'm like, man, if I could find those joints, man,
Yes.
I would grab those. Like, my brother makes fun of me because anything that's from like 90s basketball, like the era like I grew up watching, I have to buy the shoe.
Yeah.
So it's like every time like an Iverson Reebok question
like
comes
done.
out in the OG colorways, I'm like, I need them. The Air Zoom Flight 95s that Jason Kidd wore, need them.
Do you and your wife have a shoe closet, a combined shoe closet?
Yes.
How many pairs do you think y'all own collectively together?
Oh my
gosh. Obviously,
I've downsized a little bit. I haven't counted recently. At one point, it was like was like 215 pairs. Wow. Yeah.
See, and I
like
think I thought I was disgusting with like 45 pairs.
No, that's good. That's good.
But
But
that's
it's like
an insane collection.
Like you'll pull like pairs of shoes out and you're like, oh man, I totally forgot I had these.
And I always feel bad about it. It's like a lost toy that you loved forever, then you put up and
Yeah.
you're like, oh God, I forgot about you.
And it's like I'll pull out a shoe box like when my brother's over or whatever. I'm like, oh, what are these? Or he'll be going through stuff and he's like, Warren, really? You needed 2 pairs of Air Flight 89s? And I'm like, yeah, man, I needed those. You know, Pippen wore those back in 89 and 90, you know? So, but yeah, no, it's a crazy hobby. It's an addiction kind of, you know, you see a shoe and you're like, I need this and I need this immediately.
Damn. Someone sell this guy some Marbury and one.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
not the Starberry joints,
Yes.
not the Starberries. We're talking about the and one Stephon Marbury's in a 7 or a 7.5.
The one he broke his ankle in. Yeah. That's. Did you see that doc? It was incredible, by the way. And one did an Untold doc on Netflix like last year.
Oh, with and one mixtape.
Yes, yeah. It was very good.
Dude, that was sick.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Because I mean, that was like early 2000s when and one was big. I mean, I can remember I grew up. I was a wrestler. I capped out on height at like 7th grade, but even in high school, I like to play. I like to play basketball, like with friends, do 3-on-3 tournaments, all that. But like we'd watch like the and one mixtapes, and you'd just be trying to like learn how to do the move. So watching that documentary was super dope.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But you just going through this, the question mark and the T-Max shoot, those were so many awesome shoes
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, man. The air pennies, foam posits, it just goes on and on and on and on.
It does. We'll be here all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, Warren, thank you for coming in.
No, thanks for having me,
appreciate it.
guys.
It was awesome.
Appreciate it.
And where could people, if people want to spend some money on these shoes or just browse and have fun?
No, we're actually in the process of updating our website. So by Friday, we'll have all new inventory of release shoes, player editions. So you can go to EnglishSoul.com and check us out on Instagram at English Soul. We post a ton on our story. We do posts every few days, so we like to showcase some of the crazy stuff that people either didn't know existed or have always wanted to see. So yeah, check us out. Check us out either of those locations.
And that's Soul, S-O-L-E, if you're a brainiac like I am.
Right there.
I was
Like
gonna
Soul
I
on
was
the
gonna
hat.
say it, but I figured I would let someone else. I thought it was the obvious.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have no issue. I'm an idiot, so I have no problem being that person for my audience. No problem. Warren, thanks again.
No,
Megan,
thank
thanks for
you
sitting
guys.
in.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate it. This is great. I had a
Yeah,
lot
this
of
is
fun
awesome.
talking shoes.
Thank you guys.
This was sweet. Thank you, everybody, for listening. That's it for today. It's it for this week. We'll catch you guys next time.